Hi, I'm Elfishguy.
I'm Apocdud.
And this is Response. We asked you guys on Twitter, what's some tips for new CSGO players to not get bodied?
At Mr. McPasty responded, kills don't matter, practice with the AWP before using it in comp and don't buy every round. I agree with all of that. Not buying every round is very important. The economy is a massive part of CS, and learning how to keep enough funds to buy yourself gun, the utility you want next round is a skill in itself. Please learn what you're doing before you spend $4,750 on the AWP.
There's probably nothing worse than having someone who's spending almost $5,000 on a decoy every round and basically ruining your entire team's economy.
At Who Is Boss Logic responded, use utility, !
Yeah, obviously utility is a big part of Counter-Strike, one of the defining characteristics even of the game. And for someone that hasn't played a lot of games like Counter-Strike, it may not be something that it's so easy to pick up. So I think spending a little bit of time figuring out what the basic smokes are and making sure that you can throw a few smokes per map is going to be a big benefit as well.
There's just tons of aspects to the game. I mean, you've got movement, game sense, crosshair placement, spray control, the recoil patterns. And the AK is just the staple of the game, so learning that is probably the best thing to do. Gradually, as you start getting better, getting into the deeper aspects of the game, like the utility and the game sense aspect.
Over the deep corner smoke.
It's just a long process of figuring out what you want to practice and how you want to get there. Next up, we asked, if you could receive a CSGO pro's advice, what would you like to know?
At Leo Lizzie asks, how do I start a career / find a team? And it seems like there is sort of two pathways for a professional player to go up those ranks. You know, you can be like that kind of player that sticks with the team, continues to grind it out and improves alongside the rest of your cohort, or you can be that player that gets poached because maybe you're a little bit better than your team. How did things go for you?
So I started my career 4 or something years ago now, basically playing with some friends.
Good stuff, all right.
And constantly grinding with the same couple of people generally. It's a long road, and you'll see any player at the top has thousands of hours playing the game. Work your way up, keep getting that game sense up, and then eventually I think you'll find your way onto a team.
A lot of aspects of esports, the way to get involved is to just do it. And then you're going to learn, then you're going to meet people, then you're going to make some friends and network, importantly as well, with some better players. Next up, we asked you guys, what is your biggest weakness in CSGO?
At Arsenal asked, game sense and AK recoil, less than 120 hours in.
I think that's probably a difficulty for a lot of new players. Like 120 hours is really not a lot of time. Spraying with the AK is probably one of the most difficult things that you can do. 7,000 hours, that's probably the level that you need to hit the pro.
Yeah, somewhere around there. It's a game that takes a lot of investment to get good at. Best thing you can do, I think, is a lot of deathmatch, and there's a recoil master map on the workshop that you can download. That has every gun, just a couple hours training that and you'll feel a lot smoother, I think.
Don't try to be an everyman. Focus on the fundamentals and the basics of learning how to aim and making sure you can hit your shots, and then move on. The biggest tip overall, just practice. Practice makes perfect.
There's no easy trick, it's just a lot of practice.
So at Poyoy said nades, there's a lot more thinking and research probably that goes into using nades correctly, right?
It's just about trying to find the right time to use the utility instead of just throwing it haphazardly anywhere. Because otherwise you're just wasting money, right? Just start going into servers and practicing your grenades. It's useful to start watching demos to learn all the different lineups.
What is your biggest weakness? Obviously, you must have a few of them. I've seen a few games and it's a little bit of a struggle.
Okay, all right. Myself and my team as well both struggle a lot with anti-ecos, as I'm sure you probably noticed. I think it stems from too much aggression against pistols, but also reading the economy, that sometimes you just don't calculate their money correctly. Stick together, don't get picked off. From my point of view, you need to play the best Counter-Strike of your life to win against pistols.
Killing spree.
So we asked you guys, how do you communicate with your team?
I use TeamSpeak, like most of the pro players do. But I think it's generally more common in casual gaming to use Discord now. with all the features it has to offer.
Yeah, that's interesting because as far as the stats were concerned, when we ran the poll, 60% of people said Discord, which I think is probably representative more so of the casual player base rather than the professional player base.
Keep fighting people and then someone spawns behind me and then they kill me.
I use Discord a lot more now just to play with my mates because it's a little bit easier to sort of get them in.
All right, power up. Let's go.
At R6Jeshi responded Snapchat.
That's a bit of an interesting one. I feel like Snapchat might not be the ideal choice for communication. You're trying to send a Snapchat, you're saying rush B, and your teammates are there 40 seconds later, then you probably need to think about looking into another voice program.
We asked you on Twitter, if you have all the money at the beginning of the round, what would you buy?
So at Joey Sachs Chairs said, on T side, he buys a Negev, no head armor or nades. And on CT side, he buys no head armor, Negev or nades, and an R8.
That's a strong loadout. I mean, you've got the Negev for the, stopping power, suppressing fire. And then you've got the, I can't do that. No, that's terrible.
That's terrible.
That's horrible.
At G2 Esports said, Zeus and Zeus, easy.
There's actually a ton of places you can get a cheeky Zeus kill. I know there's a few pros who pretty much buy it every save round. It's definitely an effective way to just get a pick and get a gun really easily without having to properly aim.
Well, that could be an advantage for someone like me.
If I had all the money, being an AWPer, I would buy an AWP, obviously. Kevlar and helmet. I generally play a supportive role on the T side, so I'd get a Molotov, smoke, 2 flashes, and then if it was CT, get a nade instead of the 2 flashes. Make sure you get a defuse kit, and probably a P250 as well, or a 5.7, and that would be the full loadout.
I'd be going for an M4 or an AK respectively, whichever side I am on. And as far as utility goes, of course, the molly, smoke, flashes, and obviously on CT side, defuse kit is ideal.
I'm incredibly disappointed that you said AK instead of Krieg, though. No wonder you're losing games. What do you mean? You learn the spray pattern.
I'm just a bot.